Oh, all right, let's do it. There's Tamara in the mix. All right, folks, what's up, folks? My name is Doug McCain here for Dodgers Nation, and you're tuned into the post-game show. It is a show all about you guys, for you guys to talk about your boys in blue. It's all about the Dodgers right here on Dodgers Nation. Go hit follow me. I'm at Doug_McCain. That's at Doug_McCain. Get in all your thoughts, questions, everything about the Dodgers. Hit me up right here. So we're going to get into it. We're going to dive right into yesterday's 2-1 win where the Dodgers spoiled John Lester's return to the Cubs rotation by scoring on an error and a sacrifice fly, beating Chicago 2-1 on Thursday to avoid the 3-game sweep. So they avoided the sweep. They hung that L flag at Wrigley, which I think is kind of funny a little bit. They hang that L flag. It's almost like, having your home team singing like "Sha na na, hey hey goodbye" to your own team. But they hung that L flag, and the Dodgers avoided the sweep. So Ross Stripling, he had a solid outing. He allowed 5 hits, struck out 6. He threw 76 pitches in 4 2/3 scoreless innings. And he was really, he's 1 out away from getting the decision. I thought it was a good pull by Dave Roberts to come get him when he did. And, a couple thoughts on the game. It was the first win of the season where the Dodgers didn't hit a home run, but they won. So the Dodgers didn't go deep. They won the game. And a lot of it is due to Cody Bellinger's at-bat late in the game. So his sacrifice fly late in the game kind of really shows his maturity at the plate. It's a whole different approach for Bellinger. I think in years past, he's going to, maybe try to have a little different approach there. That might be a ground out, but he went with the pitch, and it was a sac fly. And that is the difference in a game where it's a 2-1 game. Those that approach at the plate, and was impressive by Cody Bellinger. The Cubs, they had runners in scoring position, the first and second innings, and Stripling, really, he was battling out there. He really came up big, and, it could have gone either way for Stripling, but he battled out there. The Cubs had their opportunities, but the Dodgers prevailed. So, like I mentioned, Cody Bellinger, he got the sac fly, but CT3, he brought in that run for the second consecutive game. Taylor reached after that Baez error, and it brought home Verdugo, who hit that monster triple. So, CT3, his struggles, have been well documented. A lot of Dodger fans talking about CT3. What should Dave Roberts do with CT3? We're going to get into that in just a second. What are your thoughts on Chris Taylor? What should Dave Roberts do with CT3? But we're going to dive into that in just a second. So, back to the game, the Dodgers, they loaded the bases in the 8th without recording a hit. So, without recording a hit, the Dodgers were patient at the plate, and it was late in the game. They didn't want to get swept. They loaded the bases, and, Bellinger, he just missed that grand slam. I thought it was gone. Based on what you're seeing from Cody Bellinger this season, I think all of us kind of thought that was gone, but he did go 1 for 2. He raised his average to 426 on the year, and we're going to sing Cody Bellinger's praises in just a second. I call him Cooperstown Cody this year, the way he's playing, because he's just mashing and raking, man. Of course, the next thing, about Kenley Jansen. So Kenley Jansen, a lot of people want to jump on and talk about Kenley Jansen. You have Kimbrel out there. Should the Dodgers go and sign Kimbrel? Let's just pump the brakes a little bit on Kenley Jansen. Now, after the game, he's kind of talking to the media. He was talking about, are you comparing his struggles to Hader's struggles? Now, if you look at 2015 to 2017, Kenley Jansen gave up 15 home runs in 109 appearances. So 2015 to 2017, 15 jacks in 190 appearances. From 2018 to 2019, that number is already at 16 home runs and 81 appearances. So with Kenley Jansen, it's really the long ball, and it's really the long ball and his lack of command, and on the pitch, but the thing is, let's just pump the brakes. Before the heart problems last year, he was pitching fine. He was under 2 ERA with 44 appearances, and it really came after the fact. So, like you said, he did risk his life to pitch. He has really gave it all for the Dodgers, and I think that it's a little bit too early to think about Kenley Jansen and what can we do about him. I do think it is cause for concern, and for me it's lack of focus. He has the gift of the cutter, and the cutter is about feel, it's about rhythm, and it's still early, and he's got to find that. And yes, he has he's pitched a lot of innings for a closer. But I still think that he can. I still think that he can definitely get back in the mix and be that dominant closer that we know he is. You remember the Dodgers are paying him $18 million, and Kimbrel wants that closer's money. He's looking for a big payday, and if the Dodgers were to sign him before, I think June 1st, they would have to give him a compensatory pick. And the Dodgers, that's what we do. We have a farm system. We have that farm system that has really paid dividends throughout the years. I don't think the Dodgers want to do anything to compromise that. Where's Bergman? Bergman, the legend. This guy, phenomenal at the post game. He moved on. I think he's doing his own Dodgers post game. He's the man. Shout out to Greg Bergman, friend of the show, friend of Dodgers Nation, always in forever. What do you think Kenley's problem is? No confidence, floppy arm. I think with Kenley Jansen, it's a combination of, finding his rhythm. It's still early, guys. We are early into this season, and, Kimbrel and Kenley would be good together. Now, that's the $1 million question. Now, Kimbrel and Kenley, they're both dominant arms, but I do think that you have to have clearly defined roles, okay? And to get the value out of Kenley, he's the closer. Dave Roberts has asked a lot with him for getting, that 6-out save a couple years back. And, let's say Kenley comes out and he blows a couple games, right? This guy is going to hear the screams of Dodger fans looking for Kimbrel, and then what do you have from Kenley after that? His confidence is shot. So I think it just doesn't seem like it's a great situation because Kimbrel is very capable and he can get very hot. And I don't think the Dodgers want to pay a closer $18, $19 million a year to be a setup guy or not use him in those high leverage clutch situations. So I'm still rolling with Kenley. I still believe, he's still adjusting to a different body type. He dropped a lot of LBs. He's in really the best shape of his life as far as, the way he looks, the weight's concerned. So give him time to adjust, find that cutter, and, it's really about command and mixing it up. Our starting rotation is the worst. I would like to beg to differ on our starting rotation being the worst. Kershaw's come back, and he's really been solid. His velocity was clocked at 91.4 on his first outing back, which is definitely solid. He hasn't gained the velocity back like a Verlander did a couple years back, but he hasn't lost velocity. And with Kershaw, I think that he's accepted this, a lot of pressure has been lifted off of him with the emergence of Walker Buehler, who we'll talk about in a second too. A lot of that pressure has come off of Kershaw because he knows that the Dodgers have, Ryu. They have a Rich Hill. They have guys that can step up and be dominant starters. And Joe Kelly, can we ever trust him? Can we trust him for hitting Ramirez a couple years ago? Is that what you're talking about? Because I'm still mad about that. We know what happened there when he was with St. Louis. I think with Joe Kelly, if you look at Joe Kelly, I think what the Dodgers remember is they remember his performance in the postseason where he was lights out and he smoked the Dodgers. But Joe Kelly is a guy that traditionally doesn't necessarily, dominate in the regular season. He saves his best stuff for October for those high leverage crunch time postseason moments. So I think if you want to, say Joe Kelly is gone now, we're gonna want this guy because he steps up big and he has a track record of stepping up big. I know, trust me. Hey, I'm an LA guy. I have issues when we bring in any Boston types. I didn't like the Rajon Rondo to the Lakers. Anytime we get guys from Boston, it takes me a minute to warm up to them. And Kelly, he gave up those home runs. Without Joe Kelly giving up those home runs, the Dodgers could have started 10-0 potentially. So, yes, he struggled early, but I'd rather see him work that out right now and have the Dodgers see if he continues to struggle. He actually, he had some good I like how Dave Roberts, he really showed a vote of confidence to Joe Kelly. He kind of, Dave Roberts was really complimentary. He said as far as his sequencing goes, he had nice shaping on his breaking ball, the changeup he used off those pitches. So Joe Kelly can calm down, mix it up, and use the other pitches in his repertoire to really kind of build that command. So back to last night's game, the bullpen was huge. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. And Ferguson made a huge pitch to get that double play ball. So Baez came in, he struck out the side, and he had that nice slider going on with the fastball. And, of course, there's Kenley Jansen's home run. Shout out to the 626, the Dina. I like that. I'm from South Pass, went to elementary school a couple blocks away. We were the Arroyo Vista Unicorns. I was telling Clint they actually changed it to the Wildcats. I think they should have stuck with the Arroyo Vista Unicorns. Will he get back to his high average ways? Alex Verdugo needs to play. Now, Alex Verdugo. So this is the thing with Alex Verdugo. Like, I'm a monster fan of Alex Verdugo. I am so excited with the start he's had, and you lose to Yasiel Puig, and that the Dodger Stadium lights up with guys like a Puig. Verdugo has stepped right in there, and I've been to a handful of games this season. It's just a different vibe when he comes to the plate and they start bumping Volver, and it's just a different energy. He brings that electricity. He brings that emotion. You saw that on that triple yesterday where he came in, and, I just love it. He also, he compliments his teammates, and I do think he should play because, I think I'm a true believer. I like the platooning. It has paid dividends for this Dodgers franchise. It's gotten them to 2 World Series, but sometimes you have those tentpole players like a Cody Bellinger, like a Justin Turner. Alex Verdugo is 4 of 9 against lefties this year with a home run, 2 triples, and a double. So he's not just hitting left-handed pitching, he's slugging left-handed pitching. So I definitely agree with you, especially in the wake of Chris Taylor's struggles. You got to get the most out of Verdugo, and I think you're going to get that this weekend. This weekend, the Dodgers against the Pirates, they're going against 3 right-handed pitchers. So they're going against 3 righties. I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Verdugo, and he's really stepped onto the scene nicely. So I'm definitely in favor of, of course, he's going to come back to earth, but a strong start is just so important for a guy like Verdugo, a guy we've heard about for so many years. Is he ready? Is he not ready? There was some talk about him having, maturity issues, like how, he would show up late. People were questioning his commitment. He ended up changing his trainer to Andre Agassi's old trainer, and really things started to click with Verdugo. So he comes in, and it's just I'm very happy about Alex Verdugo. It's like you got that nice classic car, and you don't want to drive it. You just want to polish it in the garage and wax it. No, sometimes you got to put that thing. You got to put the keys in, start the engine, and let that thing fly. And that's what the Dodgers are doing with Alex Verdugo, and I'm loving it. So Andre Agassi, a shout out to Agassi. A lot of people don't know this, but his hair was actually not real. That lettuce on his head was actually not real. But I'm a big fan of Andre Agassi. All right, which stats have impressed you the most about Cody and Alex Verdugo? So with Cody Bellinger, the stat that really impressed me, and it should impress all Dodger fans, is not just that his numbers are absolutely ridiculous. Take a look at his numbers here. On the year, Cody is hitting, after yesterday, .426, only 13 strikeouts, 15 walks, 31 RBIs, team leading, 12 home runs. So he is raking at a historic pace, but he also leads the league in infield singles. I mean, you don't see that very often. Someone that can slug like he can, but is also, we know he got benched a couple years ago by Dave Roberts when, Dave Roberts thought he wasn't hustling out a single. He goes from that to leading baseball in all major leagues in infield singles. I love to see that from Cody Bellinger. This guy is on a mission. I am absolutely, he's hit, Bellinger has had a base hit. All 3 games, he finished the series 4 of 9. He walked twice, scored 2 runs, and hit another home run. And just April is just historic for him, you know? He's only 2 bases away from passing Chase Utley for most total bases before May 1st in baseball history. So get out to Dodger Stadium this weekend, because you're not just going to see Dodger history. He's going to make Major League Baseball history as far as, you know, what he's done. And it's just a really great sight to see, because, you know, if you're guys like me, you know, after 2 World Series losses, I kind of took the bait with the whole Bryce Harper thing. I was like, whatever we can do. It's not my money, right? It's the franchise's money. Pay the piper. Get Bryce Harper. Get that hitter in here that's going to take it over the top. But it turns out Bellinger is that superstar. You know what I mean? Bellinger, you just got to be patient, you know. And it's kind of like, you know, it's like almost like, you know, when you go to, you know, you're thinking about Europe. You know, one time I went to Europe, and I was like, oh man, these girls and this and that. But then that girl right down the street is the one for you. You know what I mean? And that's what Bellinger is. This guy is a superstar. He's an MVP candidate. And if he can just, you know, keep this up, he can't keep this up. We know that. But if he can stay consistent and play at this rate and just kind of guide this team, because you remember Bellinger is stepping up at a time when Justin Turner has not really gotten hot yet. Corey Seager is still trying to get back. We needed this from Cody Bellinger, because we know that Justin Turner and Corey Seager, they're going to come to life and they're going to hit their strides sooner than later, and then that will allow, you know, Bellinger to really kind of find an extra groove. So Clint and Brooke, my boy Clint, he's in the mix here. Brooke, I'm not sure. If you didn't listen to last night's episode of Blue Haven, go check that out. The Essential Dodger Podcast. You got to check that out. Essential listening for all Dodger fans. By far the best. All right. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with a college bar, right? Man, you go to homecoming, you're going to find your way in a college bar. The drinks are cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Balling on a budget over here. All right. No, sorry. All right. And so yeah, you know, back to the game. You know, we're gonna go talk about a little bit about Chris Taylor. So Chris Taylor, that's what everyone's talking about. It seems like there's, you know, 2 people within the Dodgers that are a lot of people are having a debate about, and that's Chris Taylor and Kenley Jansen. So Chris Taylor, you know, if you follow, you know, Baseball Savant on MLB.com, you can see he's still getting solid contact. He's hitting the ball hard, but he's got to do stuff like, you know, to really get back in the mix. I think what they should do is possibly send him down to AAA just so he can get his swing back, just so he can go down there and really hone that craft, because it could get worse for Chris Taylor. But you hear Dave Roberts talking a lot about keeping players current. You know, you saw what he did with Jock last year when Jock was struggling and everyone was saying, oh, should we replace Jock? But Dave Roberts stressed that they got to keep players current, because at some point he can get and snap out of it. Now, the difference between this year and last year, though, is this year we have Alex Verdugo. So is that affecting Chris Taylor? Possibly. Does he kind of hear his footsteps? You never know. But, you know, with Chris Taylor, you know, who could they, you know, maybe, you know, it kind of depends who you send up. Do you send up Connor Joe? You know, it's something along those lines. I do think that in this situation, you do have to find a way to get Chris Taylor in positions. You know, his at-bats are just, you know, you can tell he's pressing out there. You know, that swing is, you know, he's got that violent swing. He's got that swing where, you know, it's on a 2-strike approach. It just never exists with Chris Taylor. And you would think that he'd be more comfortable with, you know, his hitting coach, Robert Van Scoyoc, coming over and being the Dodgers hitting coach, you know? So I think, you know, it's still early. You know, the Dodgers are still winning despite his struggles. The Dodgers have won 7 of their last 10 games since struggling against St. Louis and, Milwaukee, and dropping to Cincinnati. So the Dodgers are still winning without him, so they do have the ability to allow him to work his way out of that with Chris Taylor. So what do you guys think? Do you guys what are some of your thoughts on Chris Taylor? What would you guys want to do? Okay. You want to trade him? You want to okay. All right. DPM, all right. The thing about him, you remember too, he has versatility, and he's a great defender. He's a great athlete. So you don't want to send him to Double-A. Wow, you guys are cruel. You guys are trying to end careers out here. To me, I think that you allow Chris Taylor. I'd send him to Triple-A. You remember what before Puig made it back a couple years ago. He kind of rebuilt things down in the minors. In the minors, this is different. The Dodgers are on a mission. The Dodgers, it's about wins and losses with this Dodger team. It's not like that in the minors. In the minors, yes, you want to win, but it's about development. Okay? And yes, if you do send Chris Taylor down there, you are taking precious at-bats away from, our minor league players. But if you put Chris Taylor down there, he starts to get hot again. He comes back. He's a little refreshed, and you see if he can really turn the page. So, yes, there's a lot of talk about Chris Taylor. But what else we got here? Doogie, Jock, Pollock. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I like that. I mean, to me, Pollock, of course, he had a nice start to the season. He's kind of dropped since then. He has had a lot of hard hit balls. But and also, Dave Roberts, he's keeping Pollock in the lineup. Now, I don't know if that's because, he likes what he's seeing, or if that's the contract that he signed, that $55 million deal, or what. But with Pollock, you too would have to, you have to try to okay, I like that. Yeah, he's got the walk-up song's nice. What are you guys' favorite walk-up songs this year? I know, Cody B broke out the Hotel California. Volver, Baby Shark's been in the mix. What would your guys' be? I've said in the past, I think someone should do Tupac's to Live and Die in L.A. Ambitions as a writer would be a big one for me. The Curb Your Enthusiasm thing would be big. But next topic we're going to talk about it. Oh. Okay. Are you guys looking forward to the Guerrero Jr. debut today? So that's what all the hype in the baseball world is about. And I just wanted to point out that he is young. I predict he's going to hit a home run tonight. I think he's going to go yard tonight. And the record for the youngest player to ever hit a home run for the Dodgers, for all of Major League Baseball, it was the Dodgers' Tommy Brown, who hit a home run being just 17 years, 257 days on August 20th, 1945. So the Dodgers have a long history, but, we got a big weekend against the Pirates. Dodger Nation, get out your thoughts. We're going to do this all season long, just getting started. So for Dodgers Nation, my name is Doug McCain, signing out, and go Dodgers.